Hello, everyone, and welcome again. I am Dr. Shelli Carter. I am one of the faculty directors in the School of STEM. Hopefully you listened to the context for this Tips for Teaching Online, but if not, I just wanted to emphasize that this series of short sessions is being offered to you as a public service by the School of STEM faculty here in the American Public University System. And so what I wanted to talk to you now is about the idea of authentic engagement with your students. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that if you are in a situation in which you have transferred a fully online course, fully face-to-face course into a fully online course, which I am assuming you have as you're watching these videos, you already have a level of rapport with your students that is sometimes difficult to create in a fully online environment. So do be certain to capitalize on that and continue that. Your students know your mannerisms, they know your quirks of speaking, they know your voice, they know your face, and they know that you're a real person. Continue to be that real person for them. Sometimes in a fully online format that is online from the very get-go, faculty members, self included, do struggle to convey that sense of personality, but use the leverage and use the rapport you already have. But even as you have that rapport, now is not the time to lose it. Now is not the time to disconnect from your students. So do continue and pursue authentic engagement with them. One of the things that I mentioned in the overview video for this series is the need to have a plan for your course now that it's fully online, have a plan for completing the semester, and communicate that to your students. Help them make this transition from a face-to-face to a fully online course, however that needs to be conveyed to them. Do set clear expectations for them. When you will be online, when you expect them to be online. Are they expected or will they be required to attend synchronous sessions? I do encourage you not to do that. We do have another brief speaker addressing the idea of synchronous versus asynchronous instruction. But keep in mind, as we're all trying to emphasize, and as you are well aware, this is an ever-changing situation that we are finding ourselves in. Your students are now remote, they are now in different time zones, you're now not on the same clock, you now don't have the exact same expectations for seat time in a physical classroom. So, whatever your attendance expectations are going to be, let them know. But attendance doesn't just have to be, I need you in my Zoom room once a week, or I need you to listen to an hour-long lecture. It can be, I need you checking into the classroom every other day. And in most learning management systems, you can verify login and you can verify activity. Investigate that if you need to. Also set expectations for performance, and importantly, keep your expectations high. There is no need to assume that because you are moving to a different format of the classroom that the students are not going to perform very well. There's every reason to believe they can perform very well, and as a matter of fact, here at APUS, we believe that they always perform well in the online environment when given the right guidance from their faculty. And part of the plan and part of keeping students active and engaged, and also yourself, is to set a weekly routine, whatever it may be. Let them know, I'm going to be online in my virtual office hours. I'm going to grade on these days. I'm going to return responses to emails, within a business day, whatever it may be. Set a routine, establish it for them. Part of that routine, as was also mentioned in our context overview, is establishing boundaries. When is your time for yourself, or when are you preserving time away from the classroom? Make sure the students understand that. In doing these and establishing this plan and communicating these expectations, it's very easy to maintain that community sense that you already have with your students. They're going to see that you are doing everything you can to continue to help them, to continue to guide them. And they're also going to remember each other from class and realize that one way or another, we're all in this together. So I've already mentioned keeping your expectations high. You already do have a presence and a sense of engagement with your students. You just need to shift it, and you need to develop a strong virtual presence in the classroom. That is different perhaps from your social media presence. It is different perhaps from your social media platform. It's very different engagement style for example, Facebook versus what you want your students to see. So just keep that in mind and continue to be that authority and expert figure for them. On the idea of maintaining community, so you do want the students engaging both with you and you want them engaging with each other. You want to continue to be positive. You want to continue to be supportive. It is not just going to be cut and dry feedback. Reach out to your students, motivate them through weekly messages, use classroom announcements to offer guidance to the entire class. Check in without being overbearing, which sometimes can be a fine line to walk, but you absolutely can do it. If you get in the habit of, monitoring attendance, however you've chosen to define it, and you see a student who is coming and joining in the online classroom suddenly disappear or drop off for a few days, that's a great time to check in. As this global issue we are facing continues to develop, there are going to be individuals who are facing changes in their daily life. Perhaps they're not ill right now and they become ill. Perhaps they're not caretaking right now and they become caretakers. So do watch for warning signs, which are slightly different in the online classroom, but they are still present, especially if you have done the legwork to establish a sense of normality and continuity with your students. Do keep the class interactive. It doesn't have to be a simple paper drop. If that is what you have opted to do, then that's perfectly fine, but there are many, many other avenues that you can use in online education. I encourage you to the extent possible to use a virtual office hours. It doesn't have to be a video conference such as Zoom. It doesn't have to be Adobe Connect. It could simply be, I commit to answering text during this window of time, or I will pick up the phone if you call, or I will be present in our chat room or our discussion board at this time if you want to have sort of a real-time communication with me. Keep your expectations high as well. And in fact, in some areas, you can expect more from your students. So when you are in the class with them live, or you were in the classroom with them live, you may have tossed out questions for the class to debate or discuss. And they would answer those based on their own experience. They would answer those if they had done the reading already, if they had not done the reading already. May or may not have been an expectation for your face-to-face classroom. But as you shift online, students do have time to look at the questions. They have time to do research. They have time to think through their answer and formulate it more carefully, craft it, if you will, as opposed to answering with the entire class watching them. So you can expect higher quality and more thoughtful and engaging and interactive discussions, in particular if you are using an online discussion forum in your classes. If you have offered them assignments, again, they have time to do the research. They have